What is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. Doing a little Lakers talk tonight. Want to get to my YouTube people. There's a couple different topics I want to get into around the Lakers. So I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. If you're on YouTube, obviously, if you can please subscribe, would greatly appreciate it. Still under 20,000 subscribers, getting closer. It would be fantastic to get there. And I appreciate everybody that takes the time to listen to these. Two different topics that I want to get into. Number one, the news came out earlier today. Kendrick Nunn feeling 100% healthy. Obviously didn't play all of last year, so I want to talk about the type of impact he could have on the Lakers this upcoming season, obviously if he's still on the team. And then the other topic that I don't think we're talking enough about, Talen Horton Tucker. Do you want to see THT on the Lakers and see what this guy, the potential this 21-year-old kid has, or would you rather see the Lakers shop him and go get somebody that is, let's just say, more ready, been in the league for a longer time? So I'll give my thoughts on THT and everything else around that. So we'll do that. And I'm going to start off on the Kendrick Nunn stuff because I do think the Kendrick Nunn stuff is a little bit interesting to me. First off, the Lakers and all those potential trades, nothing happening. I mean, I don't remember a time. Now, I understand when free agency is over, where things get quiet. But at any time, something could go down, and nothing is going down. So I know a lot of Laker fans are probably a little frustrated that nothing has happened. Russ is still on the roster. I saw something from Jovan Buha earlier today talking about that Russ could potentially start if he does come back with the Lakers. That's a story on its own. I don't know why he should be guaranteed any starting position. But obviously no action so far in the offseason. So Kendrick Nunn, THT, first off on the Kendrick stuff. So Kendrick Nunn, we have not heard much from, Kendrick Nunn. We didn't hear much from him during the season. He was on with Chris McGee, Geeter on Spectrum Sportsnet. Love Geeter, a good dude. They did a one-on-one interview. One of the quotes he said, "I feel great, feel 100% to be honest, back to where I'm normally playing at a high level." He also said, "It's been a while since I felt this good, maybe since I was playing back in the last season I was playing." That's obviously when he was back in Miami. What kind of impact do we think Kendrick Nunn can have on this Lakers team? So Laker fans, I got to be honest with you. I don't know what the hell happened last year. Right? We were all just kind of sitting back, and I remember training camp started. It was like, yeah, he's got a bone bruise, but he'll be back. Give him 3 weeks, and he'll come back. And then 3 weeks goes by, and then a month goes by, and then 2 months go by, and we never got the updates that we got on Kendrick Nunn were so confusing. It's nobody's fault. The guy couldn't come back. He was injured. I get it. I understand it. But when I say confusing, it's like nobody really understood, well, what the heck is going on? What happened? Why is there another delay here? I actually think Kendrick Nunn would have really helped the Lakers last year. Would they have made the playoffs? Probably not. That's more dependent on Anthony Davis being there. How's LeBron doing? Is Russ fitting in? So do I think Kendrick Nunn was going to completely change the world? No. But let me just kind of give you some numbers here. Kendrick Nunn, back in the 2019-2020 season. By the way, the guy is only 26 years old, I want to say. In his 2 years in the league, third year last year, but he didn't play, averages 15 points a game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. Obviously doing it for a Miami Heat team that demands a certain style of basketball. We certainly respect the Miami Heat organization and how they do things and how they run their business. Obviously, Pat Riley, the head of that snake down there, 15 points a game in the NBA, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. That's not a bad stat line for a player that not that many people know that much about unless you're a true NBA fan. So I think Kendrick Nunn could have helped the Lakers last year. I think there are a lot of times the Lakers were looking for somebody to kind of take over. Bron just felt like every game he had everything on his shoulders, and he didn't really have many options of who to go to. Well, Kendrick Nunn could have helped with that. So going into this upcoming season, and I do know that there's no guarantee or lock that Kendrick Nunn's going to be on the Lakers because there have been trade rumors that are out there, and I've heard Kendrick Nunn's name come up. But if he is on the roster, which I got a feeling he probably will be, If he is on the roster by the time training camp starts, I think he most certainly can have some impact on the Lakers. Now, you define what that impact is. I'm talking about a role player that you can depend on that's going to come in. If you need some buckets, he's going to be less of a facilitator, more of a scorer. But if he can come in and give you, you don't have to average 15 points a game on the Lakers, but can you get to 10 to 12 points a game? Can he give some minutes where guys can get a quick breather? Can he be a player that the offense continues? Can he be that punch off the bench that a lot of teams, good teams, have? Guys like Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Poole, just using guys as examples, right? Like you kind of reignite your team when you have a bench player like that comes in. I think Kendrick Nunn can do that. I really do. I feel like he could be a good asset for the Lakers. We probably didn't talk enough about his absence last year, but I think that had more to do with the whole season was a train wreck. So you almost didn't feel like, what are you going to talk about when you do talk about, the Lakers and kind of the situation that they were in and the predict. They're 16 games below 500. They're fighting to stay in the play-in tournament, and they didn't make the play-in tournament. So I think he was easily less of a conversation. You talked less about him because of all that stuff. But ultimately, do I feel that he can have impact this upcoming season? I really do. I really do feel like he can have some impact. So, Laker fans, put it down in the comments below. What do you think? You think Kendrick Nunn, do you think if he's on this roster, can be a real rotational player? A player that we can look at and have post-game shows where we're all talking and I'm doing the post-game show up to the post-game show and I'm saying, how about Kendrick Nunn's night tonight? Are we going to have a season like that he is one of those contributors? I hope so. Let's see what happens. And I got a little bit of confidence that that will be the case, or we got a good chance for that to happen. Okay. Another thing I want to get into, and I did mention this, do you want to see Talen Horton Tucker on this Lakers roster come this upcoming year? Let me give a quick little backstory on Talen Horton Tucker. The kid's only 21 years old. All right. Last year he averaged, I think it was around 10 points a game, something like that. Not a good perimeter shooter, maybe around, I know he's under 30% from the three-point line. Incredibly young. We know his contract. He basically signed 3 years, $30 million. Last year was the first year, $9.5 million I think he made. This upcoming year he'll make 10 and change, and then the final year, which is a player option for THT, he's got the player option there. He'll make, I think, a little bit over $11 million. So there are plenty of things that I try to go out of my way on. If I was wrong about something, I just try to admit it. It's all good. It happens. Nobody's Nostradamus here and is going to predict everything. I give my best analysis that I can, and if I fall flat on my face, I fall flat on my face. THT, I was saying last year that there were growing expectations about THT. I'm like, this just don't add up. You cannot be asking a 20-year-old, this is at the time, that he's supposed to come in and be a real contributor on this Lakers team. He's only 20 years old. He turned 21 in November. He'll turn 22 this upcoming November. I like to think that my thought process on that was accurate. Now, what ended up happening during the season? During the season, he's on the team. I think he lost a lot of trade value last year. And when listen, he's still a young guy that's got a lot of potential. But we started creating expectations around Talen Horton Tucker, like this dude was going to walk in and be a huge contributor on the team. And by the way he was paid, remember, the Lakers' contracts, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russ were the three highest paid players on the Lakers. You know who number 4 was? It was Talen Horton Tucker. So there was always, also from a financial perspective, that Talen Horton Tucker was being compensated like he was supposed to really produce. I never bought into that. I just think it's so difficult to ask players who are that young, that inexperienced, to come in and have true value on a quote-unquote championship caliber team. Now, some Laker fans may say, Alan, what are you talking about? In Orlando, during that Miami championship run, THT had some moments. Well, he did have some moments. but KCP was on the team, Kyle Kuzma was on the team, Rondo was on the team, Dwight Howard was still contributing, Bron, Anthony Davis, go down the list of all these other players that were contributing for the Lakers. There was no pressure on THT. If THT had a good night, you sat back like, well, that was fantastic. No one was expecting that. But I thought walking into last year, there was real expectations that THT is going to have to do something. So why do I bring that up? I saw a report earlier today, and Mark Stein, who, by the way, how great has Mark Stein been this offseason? Mark Stein's reporting that Indiana, a Lakers-Pacers deal. I'm going to read off one portion of this. It says, it is likewise believed that the teams have discussed the deal, Lakers and the Pacers, focused on Buddy Hield without Miles Turner involved that would still require the Lakers to furnish draft compensation to Indiana's liking as part of a package centered around Talen, Horton, Tucker. So, Laker fans, I'm going to be very simple on this one. When I propose a question to you, and you can comment below, and please do, I always enjoy reading the comments. When I propose a question to you, do you want to see the Talen Horton Tucker on the Lakers this upcoming season? To me, I'm completely okay if THT is not a part of this Lakers team. It's nothing against THT. I just would prefer somebody that's got more experience in the league that I feel like can contribute more right now today as in this upcoming season than Talen Horton Tucker. That doesn't mean THT isn't talented. That doesn't mean that THT doesn't have potential to be an all-star in 5 years. Maybe that's a little much of a stretch. But the guy, he can play. Don't get me wrong that he can't play. It's just going to take time. So if there's a deal for Buddy Hield centered around THT, I'm not one that's going to hesitate because I think Buddy Hield's going to help the Lakers in the more immediate future. And I think the Lakers, all they care about is the immediate future. So that's my opinion on that. That's my thoughts on that. Again, if you disagree with me, feel free to disagree. But I don't put as much stock in the THT. I don't put as much stock in what he brings to the table in the immediate future. That does not mean that he can't be something more down the road. Laker fans, appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I'll say it once again. Hopefully I'm not annoying the hell out of you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed. I'll continue to try to do my best. Put up content right here for Lakers Talk on YouTube. Love this audience here. I really do. All the other stuff that I do is fantastic, and I enjoy doing it. But there's something about YouTube that I genuinely enjoy. So thank you for listening to the show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And hopefully we're back with some good content here coming up soon.